Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Teen Playbook. I'm Ian, and today I will be your host. Today, we're getting real. We're getting into finances, credit, and debt. You all may think it's something that only adults have to worry about, but in perspective, it's something the youth have to learn too, because one day we're going to grow up too. Today, we have a very special guest, Mr. Samder Khangarot, who is the founder and CEO of Bond Credit, which is a revolutionary AI chatbot that specializes in finances, specifically credit cards and credit card debt. Thank you so much for joining us today, Mr. Samder. Thank you for being here. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, and thank you, Ian, for inviting me. Super excited for this podcast.
Thank you so much. I'm not going to drag this on any further, so I'm going to jump right into questions if that's okay with you.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Okay,
That's
so I wanted to start out with kind of a little intro into Bond Credit. What is your story and what drove you to build Bond Credit?
10 years ago when I moved to US, I really struggled with, getting a credit card and managing my student loan,
Mm-hmm.
right? And there was no one platform where I can, like manage my credit cards, manage all my debts, pay all my
Mm-hmm.
debts. And I realized like, hey, the system is really, really broken.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got deeper into it, and when I researched more, I realized more than 100 million Americans carry balance on a credit card month to month. They pay
Mm-hmm.
close to 24% APR. Like, I was just researching and found last year Americans paid more than $200 billion in
Wow.
credit card interest and late fees, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And mostly like young people like Gen Z and millennials, people like you and me,
Uh-huh.
right? We don't have tools, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that's where I realized, hey, this is the best time to build a product like Bond with
Mm-hmm.
AI revolution, which can automate all the boring tasks and all the dirty work that you need to do to manage your credit on a fully automated process. So that's the reason we started Bond, and we are super excited to build Bond and help young Americans manage that and get out of that.
Mm-hmm. So it would be safe to say that like young Americans and specifically maybe like high school and college students are your target market?
I'll not say high school, but
Uh-huh.
think like college students and
College.
recent grads, right? Who
Mm-hmm.
have multiple cards, who don't have good credit score,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't have option to cheaper credit as well, right? Like most of
Mm-hmm.
these people are paying high interest rates on their credit cards or auto loans or student loan, right? So for them, Bond is the best product. And
Mm-hmm.
the reason Bond is the best product because Bond has learned everything related to credit cards and managing debt and interest rates so that
Mm-hmm.
users don't need to, right? So our
Yeah.
AI agents will find the best card for them. Our AI agents will find the best refinance option for them. Our AI agents will find the best rewards for them, right? Our AI
Mm-hmm.
agents will keep track of due dates, bill payments, utilization, right? So these are the things that impact a credit score. And if
Yeah.
it's on autopilot, your credit score rarely goes down, it always
Mm-hmm.
goes.
Yeah, so I was actually exploring the chatbot and I was really surprised at how comprehensive it was because I was taking my personal finance class and before that I was like, what even is a credit score, right? Because this is not something that's widely taught at school. And then
Yeah.
I was just talking to my personal finance teacher and she was talking to me about how personal finance isn't yet a required subject within my state, which is Washington. And I was actually really surprised because everything I learned in that class is quite literally tools I'm going to need to use. So I was just really, really surprised when like this information isn't widely taught. But when I was exploring Bond, I was like, wow, this really, really brings the stuff that we need to learn early in order for us to get like good credit score in the future.
Yeah, exactly. And as a system, we have failed to educate people, right? Like when
Mm-hmm.
you look at traditionally, pretty much every platform tried to educate people,
Mm-hmm.
right? And we have failed, and that's the reason we are seeing millions of individual bankruptcy, consumer
Yeah.
bankruptcy every year. We see like $1 trillion credit card debt, and that's why we
Mm-hmm.
realize like, hey, we don't need to educate consumers. We want to educate agents, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that consumers don't need to learn, agents manage, agents execute, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the benefit is transferred to consumers, right? So the
Yeah.
consumers only care about the benefit, the output, and the output is cheaper debt and maybe reduce debt or get out of debt, have the best credit options for them, have the best rewards for them,
Hmm.
so save money and grow money. And if this can be done on autopilot, this is a phenomenal thing for young consumers.
Absolutely. Yeah. So can I move on into asking you, like, how did you actually build bond credit? Like, what was kind of the steps to bringing it to life?
Yeah, so I think the first step was understanding the problem very clearly. So,
Mhm.
first few months, I and my co-founder and our early team members, we just spent time understanding consumer and like what are they struggling with. So we
Mhm.
were like regularly chatting on subreddits related to credit card and debt-free programs. And we realized, like, if you go to our credit cards, every few minutes, some young person is coming and asking credit questions,
Mhm.
and they are not getting good responses there, right?
Yeah.
So it validated our problem statement, like, hey, young people have no idea how to manage credit, have no idea like what are the best credit options for them.
Mhm.
And existing platforms are not conversational, right? Like
Yep.
when you go to legacy players, I'll not name any player, but like when you go to current options, they just tell, hey, this is the right card for you, or this is the right loan for you,
Yeah. Yep.
and you don't know like what to do with it. It's a black box, right? So they
Mhm.
redirect you, and you have no idea whether you'll get approved or not, you know
Mhm.
and that's the problem we are solving at Bond, right? So
Yeah.
earlier, first phase was just to validate the problem, spend more
Uh-huh.
time with consumers. We went to all the places where young people hang out, college campuses, shopping malls, like university downtowns, and we just talked to people, and we realized, like, hey, this is a problem, right? Pretty
Mhm.
much half of the young people we talked have a credit card debt.
Mhm.
They don't know like how to get out of it, or how to reduce it, or how to refinance it,
Yep.
right? So that's where like the first phase was. And then like we decided, hey, the first thing we should do is to build a chatbot, right? And put
Mhm.
everything on agentic research, right?
Mhm.
So we built the credit gpt, which is Bond's chatbot. Basically, you can call like Bond's LLM purely for credit cards,
Uh-huh.
loan and personal loan, and including everything related to these loans into refinancing.
Mhm.
In few weeks, we'll also launch agentic budgeting tool, agentic
Oh.
credit search tool, and agentic debt relief program tool, right? So there are new
Mhm.
tools coming in October. So users don't need to worry about like, hey, how to increase my credit score. Now you have
Uh-huh.
a AI agent that will plan for you and like execute to make sure your credit score always goes up.
Mm.
You don't need to worry about like, hey, how should I reduce my debt, or what's the best way to get out of debt, because
Mhm.
we are building an agent who will do all the job for you, right?
Mhm.
So
Right.
these are the things we're going to build in future. We are launching our native app early October, in which
Mhm.
you can manage all your credit cards in one place. You can track their bill payments, utilizations.
Uh-huh.
You can make those bill payments within our app. You can track spending. You can track your credit score. You can track recurring transactions. You can cancel those transactions within our app. And
Mhm.
like everything is free for now, right? So
Uh-huh.
enjoy.
Yeah, I was congrats by the way on the new app. Um, just listening to you, these tools are gonna be just so revolutionary and amazing. I think because with a lot of people in the world, they're just so busy with their lives that most of the time they don't have like much time or bandwidth to deal with all this financial jargon. So this really just simplifies everything into one app that they can use to track their habits, to track their credit cards, to track their debts, and it just sounds so useful. So I
Yeah.
wanted to ask something that I really wanted to ask actually was how do you really train the AI chatbot?
Yeah, so we train the way humans learn, right? So
Uh-huh.
humans go and read different stuff, and at different places, right?
Mhm.
And then validate it with like issuer websites, or like the websites that have credit card information, right? So
Mhm.
that's how we trained our model
Mhm.
on multiple different variants. We also learned what are the consumer problems, right? And how
Mhm.
it's like peer to peer learning. We also learned from influencers, and like
Um,
on social media what credit card experts are talking about, or debt relief programs are talking about, right?
mhm.
So that's
Yeah.
what a consumer do, right? Like a
Mhm.
consumer goes on Google and search like, hey, what are the best credit options, and then he read through a lot of stuff. or he'll follow someone on TikTok or YouTube and look at their videos for 30 minutes and see like, hey, these are the things to do to
Mm.
manage credit, or like to keep utilization below 30%, right?
Yeah.
Or they will like go to research forums which have dedicated research or like
Uh-huh.
programs or credit management, and enroll themselves in those programs, or take financial literacy courses, right?
Mhm.
So all those things are done by our AI agent.
Mhm.
It's very similar training to like just like a human does, but it's million times faster, million times more efficient,
Mhm.
right? So yeah.
Okay, so for the large majority of our viewers are actually teens. So do you mind kind of telling the people out there maybe like what they can do as teens to start off with good credit and why is it good to start off early with these good habits?
Yeah, I think you should start building your credit as early as possible. And
Mhm.
the simplest way is get a credit card, because you can't get a personal loan or a home loan or auto loan. So whatever,
Mhm.
like side gig, if you are doing any side gig,
Uh-huh.
and if you have any income, you will be eligible for a credit card,
Mhm.
right? And even if you don't have an income, you must get a credit card on your parents' name, right?
Mhm.
So that you have a history, right? So the
Yeah.
first step is to build credit history.
Mhm.
Keep your utilization below 30% on every credit card bill, right? Early
Mhm.
on, you might have a very limited credit limit, let's say $500 or $1,000 every month. So
Yeah.
try to keep it, below 30% of utilization, and pay your bills on time. That's it. If you do these two, three things, right? Like
Uh-huh.
bills on time, keep utilization below 30%, you will have really good credit, right?
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
never apply to multiple credit at the same time, because like every time there's a hard pull on your credit, your score drops by a few points. uh,
Mhm.
so if you keep these basic things in mind, in a year or two you will have like really good credit. And
Mhm.
good credit means like cheap debt,
Yeah.
right? Pay high interest rates when you go to college to take a student loan or buy your car, right?
Mhm. Yeah. So, on the topic of teens, another thing that I was really anticipating to ask you was for teens who are interested in building startups, like would you mind walking us through kind of the process or like what kind of process that you use to build your startup to bring it from like idea to investor to life?
Yeah, I think building a startup is great way to learn, you know
Mhm.
lot of things, right? So
Mhm.
you learn how to do sales, you learn how to manage teams, you learn marketing, you learn product development, right?
Mhm.
And as a founder, early on you have to do a lot of things by yourself,
Mhm.
right? So I
Yeah.
think the best way teens can start is, whatever problem they have, so always start with the problem, right?
Yeah.
And whatever the problem they have, try to build a solution around that.
Mhm.
And get some early sales, get some traction, and like pitch to investors. There are a lot of early investors now who
Mhm.
invest even in like high school kids or teens who are building like cool stuff, right? Like Y
Mhm.
Combinator is one of those examples, right? And they can
Uh-huh.
get 500,000 in funding, so I think they should quickly find a problem statement, which a large market,
Mhm.
or maybe a niche market which they are very aware of, like,
Yeah.
hey, it's hard for teens to get haircuts, right? So we build an app that helps you find barbers near you. Or like it's hard for teens to find cool electronic products or games, or like
Mhm.
secondhand games, or like used games or something. So you build a marketplace where people can sell their game CDs or like whatever game equipments, and that's it. And you
Yeah.
earn commission on every sell, and you can pitch to investors if you have good traction, right?
Mhm.
Or you can build a new social media, right?
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah, sounds great. Thank you so much. My next question would be back to Bon. I wanted to ask, what's the next step? I know you mentioned the app, but like, how do you measure like your key metrics? What do you look at to see like if it's doing well or not?
yeah, so I think my video stopped or something. Yeah, now it's working. Yeah, so I think the key metric for us is user retention.
Uh-huh.
right? Like, hey, how many times are people coming back to our app? That's one of the things.
Mm,
Second is paying credit card bill payments, right? Like,
mm,
are people, you know, linking their bank accounts and doing transaction on our app? And third is refer, right? Like, are
mm,
people inviting other people, right? In fact, when I put it on priority, I think the most important factor for us right now is like retention and referrals, right?
yeah. Okay, so next I wanted to ask, I did notice that currently all your features are free, which is first of all amazing because it makes it so widely accessible. Do you have any plan to maybe implement like a subscription base or like a premium program?
We will be keep adding more premium services,
Uh,
right? So I think once we have those premium services, we might think of a premium program. But
mhm,
until then, everything in our app is free to use.
okay. And then I wanted to ask, in the future, looking like 3 to 5 years ahead, what do you think Bond AI is going to look like?
I think Born AI will be a single platform for all the young people. And even if you are not young, you can use Bond to manage your credit, manage your money, manage your investment, right?
Mhm,
So it's a
yeah.
like one stop solution for
Mm.
everything related to credit and money.
Yeah, I was actually coming into this interview, I was gonna ask about like the different features if you were gonna go maybe into like investment in financials and like retirement, all of that good stuff. So that really answers my questions. And then I also wanted to ask, with everything that's going on in the digital world now, how do you make sure that bond credit is like secure with your financial information?
Yeah, so for most of the financial information, we use, open banking APIs, right? So
Hmm.
that means the information is coming from, some of the best players in the market, and we are using their APIs, which are used by, multi-billion-dollar companies.
Hmm.
The US, pretty much all the financial institution or investing institution use those APIs, right? Uh,
Hmm.
and we never share personal information
Hmm.
to our LLMs or like to any other party. So it's very secure and very private.
Yeah, okay.
And
That
security
sounds.
is like our top priority, right? So we don't
Uh-huh.
compromise with security and privacy.
Hmm. Yeah. I really like, how the AI, like it not only gives you the correct answers, but it works on your situation because it remembers like exactly where you're at and then it gives you that like step-by-step plan to take you. Um, and I think it just encompasses that huge like kind of gray area of financial advice that people can't really access from day to day.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and then I wanted to ask, like, what's your plan on kind of bringing bond credit to the general public or kind of scaling it?
Yeah, so like as we talked earlier in our
Uh,
conversation, we are focusing on young people and millennials,
yeah.
right? So we are focusing heavily on social media, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Snapchat, right?
Mm,
Those are like our key distribution channels, influencer marketing, and at some point we want to do like ads, TV commercials, right? Like print
mhm,
media, wherever young people are, we want to be there.
okay, that makes sense. And then this is going to be my second to last question. What are kind of the biggest challenges or like road bumps that you've encountered on your way, and how did you get over them?
Yeah, I think one thing you'll see with AI is a lot of people think AI is not good, right? So
Mm,
AI is taking jobs. AI, like there is a lot of negative news around AI,
yeah.
but Born is good AI,
Mhm,
right? And the reason it's good AI is because we really help people with AI, right? Like
mhm,
and financial stress is a huge problem among young people. They are so depressed, right? They can talk about anything in their life with their friends but not debt or
yeah.
money,
Yeah.
right? And that's where we feel like, hey, bondcredit.ai is your best friend. And there's a personal space, there's a safe space with bond credit where you can talk anything related to your money problems,
Mhm,
right?
yeah.
Currently, we are just focusing on credit, but in future, it will cover, pretty much everything related to money, right? Be it taxes,
Yeah.
be it debt, be it investing, right? So it's one place where it's a safe space where you can actually share how are you feeling,
Mhm,
right? Let's say you had a huge student debt and you don't have income and you don't know what are the best options for you,
mhm,
right? Now you come to bond credit. That's a
Yeah.
safe space for you to talk about it, right?
Hmm.
And it's a private conversation between you and AI,
Yeah.
right?
I, hmm.
Uh, so that's the one disruption we feel like, hey, AI can be for good, and
Hmm.
Bond is making that a reality,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Bond means good AI that
Hmm.
really helps you to get out of debt, manage your credit, get cheaper credit options, reduce your stress, have a healthy mental life, right?
Hmm.
There's so much benefits that are not cannot be measured in numbers,
For
right?
sure. For sure. Yeah. I mean, I think that AI is can be a wonderful tool because, like you mentioned, with all the stigma that's going on right now, and kind of everything that's going on with like people judging other people and peers, it's really, really important to have
Yeah,
a place you can be vulnerable in, and
yeah,
especially because you're afraid of other people judging you, like AI is the best solution to
yeah.
this issue.
and
Mhm,
and that's the reason we named our company as Bond. Bond
mhm.
means good in French, right?
Wow. Okay.
uh, so and the whole ethos is around like we want to build a Nike kind of brand around goodness,
Hmm.
right? And Bond is that company for us, right? So Bond
Yep.
means, like, good AI, celebrating good financial behavior, right? At
Hmm.
some point we'll also launch a product that rewards good financial behavior, like, hey,
Hmm.
you paid your bills on time, you keep your utilizations below 30%, so here's rewards for you, right? Which
Oh
nobody is
wow.
doing, by the way, right?
Uh-huh.
So we really want to build our company around this ethos for like celebrating goodness, or like
Mm,
good financial behavior, right? So like, you have been paying all your bills on time, but nobody
mhm,
cares, right? You
mhm.
miss one credit card payment, and all the bureaus and all the financial institutions come behind you,
Yep.
right? Your score goes down, your interest rates goes high, and
Mhm.
your balances increase on your
Uh-huh.
credit card, right? So everyone is punishing you for like one mistake you make,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And nobody cares and nobody appreciate the good efforts you have done for the years, and
Yeah.
that,
Mhm.
right? So let's say you paid your 10 years your bills on time, and nobody cares about it. Now there's Bond. Bond
Yep.
cares about it. Bond is voice for people who do good.
Mhm. Yeah, Bond is to me in my mind, it's just like a whole personal banker, like at this point, because personal bankers are really expensive, but Bond
Yeah,
comes for free and it's accessible to anyone. So I think
yeah,
that's just like the big, big hitting point.
yeah.
So
Think
for my
like,
last,
you are just starting, your career, and very
uh,
young. At some point you're gonna buy a house, right? Or maybe you
yeah,
already have a house, right?
uh,
But let's say you need to do, complete planning around your credit, like, hey, how should
mhm.
I manage my auto loan, student loan, credit card debt,
Yeah,
mortgage, and personal loans, or refinance one loan, or maybe get out of other loan, or like
uh,
HELOC on my mortgage to buy five more properties, right? How should
uh,
I manage all these debts, right?
yeah,
Our AI agents will do that job for you,
yep,
and they will do this job without you telling them or anything. They are already working for you, right?
mhm,
So the moment you come to Bond and like set up an account on our app, our agents will work 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365 days a year,
mhm,
right? Just to make sure your credit always goes up, like your credit
yeah,
score always goes up, interest rates always go down, you always have the best refinance option,
mhm,
your utilization is below 30%, so you are coming out of that, not going in, and at some point we'll also launch money products where
wow,
you can grow your finances by
um,
investing, by
mhm,
like staking, and by yield accounts, right? So
mhm. Yeah. I mean, to me, I feel like Bond AI is like such a different tool because it differentiates between different situations, right? Because like everybody has a different financial situation. And
yeah,
sometimes like when the person you go to is all about like savings, they don't know about investment. Like
yeah,
Bond AI specializes in everything because like their AI, they know much more than a human could learn
yeah,
in like a lifetime. So like it first of all caters to your specific needs and
yeah,
specific situation at the time, but then also it has that expertise in any field you want it to have that expertise in.
yeah,
So
yeah. And
yeah.
especially for teens, or like
Uh,
high school people, right?
uh,
There's so much going on in their life. They need to apply for colleges, they
yeah.
want to have fun, and in middle of all those things, you are asking like, hey, you need to learn about credit or
Yep.
building credit, and that's so boring. And
Hmm.
if it was exciting, they would learn it, but like building credit is a long process. It doesn't
It
happen in a
is.
day or two,
Hmm.
right? It's a process, and you have to learn the process, right?
Hmm.
And most people don't want to learn that process because it's an investment of long time. Second, it's boring,
Hmm.
right? And this job can easily be outsourced to AI agents, right? If someone
Hmm.
else can do this job for me, I would love to pay $500 or $100 or $1,000, whatever that amount is, right?
Uh-huh.
So it's like Waymo, right? Like you want to drive from point A to point B in San Francisco, right? So
Yeah.
rather than you driving and going through all that process of getting a driver's license and then buying a car and then getting an insurance, all you do
Hmm.
is like request a Waymo, and Waymo comes,
Hmm.
get in and moves from point A to point B, fully autonomous, right?
Yeah.
And it's very safe as well, right? So
Hmm.
it's a higher probability that you'll really get into accident or like any kind of assault within the car, right? So it's a safe space, just like
Hmm.
the way Waymo is a safe space for you to move from point A to point B.
Yeah.
BondCredit.ai is your safe space to move your credit from here to here,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And that's what bond credit do. It's like better credit with AI.
Uh-huh. So for my last question today, if you could tell every single teenager in the world just one thing about having healthy financials in the future, what would you say?
Well, I'll say use bondcredit.ai. Right.
All
But
right. Well,
I'll
yeah.
still recommend them, like paying bills on time, keeping
Uh-huh.
utilization below 30%,
Uh-huh.
and don't take high debt, right? Most
Mm.
most people, in fact, believe making minimum payment doesn't get you any interest. That's
Mhm.
absolutely wrong, right? When
Yep.
you just make the minimum payment on the remaining balance, you pay
Yep.
like 25% or 35% interest on a year,
Mhm. Yep.
right? So try to avoid minimum payments. If you can pay in full, unless your terms and conditions are like that at
Mhm.
0% for first 12 months or 6 months, that's okay.
Mhm.
But if you don't have 0% for like whatever time, and
Mhm.
if there's a APR, make sure you pay all your bills in full.
Mhm. Okay, thank you so much. That about wraps it up. Everybody, you heard him. Use Bond AI, pay your bills on time, and start good habits young. Thank you so much for your time today, Mr. Samder. I truly appreciated learning about the process of building Bond AI, but also your drive behind it. Thanks so much for tuning in, everybody. See you next time.